Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more day, the Wednesday Leading Change Day with Madhuri Korapati. Hi, Madhuri. Welcome back.
Thank you, Oscar, again.
It's a pleasure to have you, of course, today to talk about one of the main areas of focus for Scrum Masters, that is change. And of course, we're talking about any kind of change. It can be a local team-focused change or even an individual change, but it can also be a global, like organizational change, transformation, whatever that might be. So Madhuri, tell us a story of a change process you were involved with and walk us through the steps, like how that change was happening, and then highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
So, as I mentioned before as well in my previous day's podcast, I was part of the Agile transformation in my company. So at that time, as I said, I didn't know what Agile was. So that's where the journey started. As it's progressing in our teams, it started like with one team. They started like applying some of the agile techniques, started like coaching us to explain us what it's going to be, what the journey is going to be, and what's our good look like, and what are the things we want to do, and then how we want to do it. So it's not a simple transformation. It took us more than a year to slowly transfer. That includes tools, processes, everything. So the main and the important thing I learned from it is, as a part of this, it's the main change we need is the mindset. Any transformation, the main and the important one is a mindset. It's not about the tools. Yes, if you want to move into agile, if you want to be faster, yes, we can buy some tools which are equally important. You need to buy some Jenkins so that you can automatically deploy. But what about the mindset of the teams? I understood that that is a very important thing. There are like many people in the organization. They are there for years and years. They were doing the same thing again and again. All of a sudden, it comes up and then say, no, you need to do the things differently. Are people working in silos, are in their particular department? All of a sudden, we are saying you need to work with another department and work collaboratively, which is a very good thing. So that helps the teams to move forward. And as part of the change, I understood that this is very good. Yes, it helps to deliver quickly. But I was so resistant to do it. I understood that it takes a lot of time. It's a mindset change. It's not like something simple. I can quickly do it. It took a while for me. At the beginning, it's like even like moving from one place to other place. I go and sit with another team itself. It took me a while to understand or like work with them. So it's mainly the mindset. That drastic shift of from mindset from one to the other is a big thing. So whenever I realize that like any transformation, like whenever we do a transformation, there are like coaches come in and then support. But some coaches come in and say, yes, these are the tools, use this one, and this is how we use it. But that's definitely, I don't say like that become 100% successful unless the coaches come in and help us with the mindsets and then understand actually the team problems and then believe that team are part of the change and the change is their change rather than our change.
Before we dive into that, because that what you just said about the change being the team's change, not our change, is also a very important topic. But before we dive into that, I think you made a pretty good case that mindset is an aspect that we need to focus on, and we need to accept that it takes time, right? It's not going to change immediately.
Yeah.
But I want to dive into that a little bit more. And I want to start by asking, like, if you would have to describe this to a new Scrum Master who's just started, they don't have a lot of experience with change or being a Scrum Master, how would you describe what you mean by mindset?
So the way I explain always, it's like the mindset of a person. I will say like always give two examples. One is a person who joined a graduate person who is just from the uni, enthusiastic, want to do anything or everything because they're completely new. And there is a person who is experienced and have a specific skill set, and that person's mindset is always concentrate on their particular task. But a graduate have an open mind because they haven't deep dived into one of the thing. So these people are two complete different people. And like our grandfather and our kid, it's like kid is something they're too enthusiastic, they want to be involved everywhere, but the grandfather, they think so many times before they take any decision, because some of their experiences, good or bad, taught them many things.
What you're saying is that mindset is a little bit like the things we've experienced in the past that influence our choices.
Yes, that's right. And some of the experiences we face, some might be good and some might be bad. That make us choices. And some of the transformations they might have previously might had a bad experience. They might have lost some people moved away, and they didn't see any good from it. So all of that. So that mindset, it takes time. So I will explain them about mainly about the change curve. So if you see in the change curve, sometimes any change, even if it's a good one or a bad one, it starts with a shock. They feel like, oh, a change is a shock. And straight away it go into denial. We are not accepting it because I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to change. It's a saying, it says like, who wants the change? Everyone says yes. Who want to be involved in the change? No one raise the hand. It's like everyone want a change, but no one to be part of that, because it's it's a mindset change. It's uncomfortable. We don't want to be in that uncomfortable position, and that leads people into kind of like feel depressed and feel that, oh no, I don't know anything, I may lose this, that, and finally thinks, yes, I need to accept it. Whatever I do, still there is a change. I need to accept it. At that point, they start slowly kind of accepting what it is and understanding, and then feel like, let's try. And they start trying that one. And once they start it, and some people reach the top level within like few days, and some people take time. All this change curve for person to person is different. For me, it may take a week. For others, may take a day. For others, take a year. So understanding that is very important as a Scrum Master or any change leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like how you describe it, that understanding the model of how change happens does not mean that you know how long it will take, because in fact, it might take for some people a couple of days and other people a long time. And we need to accept that it's going to take some time, and for some more than others, which then takes me to the next question, which was the topic you were already going into, which is, okay, but now we need to do this at a team level, like you were describing, where every team member is evolving and changing at a different rate. And that also brings us to the topic that it's not our change, it's their change, right? So when you enter a team and you know this, right, you know everybody will change at a different rate, and there's this mindset that needs to transform over time. How do you prepare for it, understanding that it's their change? Like, of course, first thing, we don't push change because it's not ours, it's theirs. Okay, great. But what does that mean in practice? So, Madhuri, when you go into a team, how do you start preparing that change these days?
So whenever we go into the team, first we want to understand the team. Understand, the important thing is understanding like each and every person's concern. If you want to do a change, how it's affecting them. Some might feel about their job, some feel like, oh, I lose the responsibility I have, or like, I'm a hero now, may not be a hero in the future. So that's one of the great example, because some of the senior people definitely feel like they have more responsibility and feel like they are special in the team because they have that one in a waterfall or a lead model. If you have a lead, but they feel, now I lose all of that, what is the point of me be as a senior? But the one thing we want to explain them, you're still a hero, but the thing is, you're being as a hero by supporting the other team members and mentoring. Your responsibility is bit more, you're building your junior members, so that's actually a more responsibility than what you have. Your previous responsibility is just deliver what been given. But now your responsibility is a bit more. You are mentoring the junior members to deliver.
That's actually a great point that you just raised, which is that we need to be able to talk to people in their own language, talking about their own fears, right? And I think that's a great way to illustrate the idea that it's their change, right? We can't go to people and tell them what we believe is good. We need to go to people and tell them something that they already know is good, and explain how the change will help them get there, right? Like you were using the metaphor of being a hero as one example.
Yeah. And the other thing I always want to share is about like influencing the people. Sometimes it's really difficult to influence each and every member of the team. But there is always a person in the team who is very influential. He cannot be a senior member, or cannot be a lead or a manager, or can be whoever it is. Sometimes there is one person who is very influential. People like whole team believe them so much. That can be their integrity or honesty or their skill set, whatever it is. So I feel it's very important to understand that one particular person within the team are like group of persons in the team, and then first work with them and then try to get a buy-in from them. If you get a buy-in from them, automatically you get buy-in from the whole team. In a short period of a time, if you need to do something, I always feel like this is not cheating. It's like trying to understand like who is the person who is most influential, team listen to, and getting their buy-in because they know people are believing them. That means they're doing something good. Knowing from them, understanding that person and getting a buy-in from them actually helps.
Yeah, that's a great tip indeed. Thank you for sharing this story and all of these tips with us, Madhuri.
Thank you, Oscar.
Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role. We'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.